Hola, buenos días. Yo soy Profesora Ellis, and we are going to learn about some greetings in Spanish, farewells, and also some introductions in Spanish. I want you to follow along on my PowerPoint just so that you can have this knowledge as I'm talking. So again, my name is Profesora Ellis, and we're going to learn about some greetings, farewells, and introductions in Spanish today. Materials that you're going to need for today, number 1 is a pen or pencil. Number 2, you're going to need a notebook to write these notes down. Number 3 is going to be either a phone or a desktop. And number 4, you're going to need a positive attitude, okay? Because language is something that is a journey. So it's going to take some practice, but that's what we're here for. So here are some greetings that you can use with either strangers, people of authority, and individuals older than you. So the first one is Buenos días. I want you to repeat, Buenos días. Buenos días in English means good morning. Then we have Buenas tardes. Repeat, Buenas tardes. Buenas tardes in English means good afternoon. Then lastly we have Buenas noches. I want you to repeat, Buenas noches. Buenas noches in English means good night. So these are all forms of greetings that you can use for morning, buenos días, afternoon, buenas tardes, and night, buenas noches. So now let's do some practice now that we have some greetings for morning, afternoon, and night. So this is Geraldo. Este hombre aquí es Geraldo. He's older than you, right? And let's say that you're walking through the streets and you happen to see him as you walk into a store. Okay? Remember, he's older than you. So an example of a greeting we could use with him would be what? What do you think we could use with him? We didn't mention a time, so we could say good morning, good afternoon, or good night, depending on what time it is. So if you thought either buenos días, buenas tardes, or buenas noches, all of those are perfect. That'd be a great way to greet Geraldo, and he would respond with whatever you used. So if we say buenos días, Geraldo, he would say buenos días, and he'd probably ask you how you were. Let's try with another example. This time we're more specific with what time it is. So looking at this image, it's 5 p.m. in the afternoon. So I want you to think of an example that you could use at this time of the day. Would it be good morning if it's 5 p.m.? Would it be at night since it's 5 p.m.? Or would the afternoon work the best? I think the afternoon would work the best. So that means we would use buenas tardes. Buenas tardes. And again, if you had a person that you were talking to, then you'd say, hola, buenas tardes, and they would respond, buenas tardes. So that would be your greeting. Now let's move on to greetings that you can use with either friends, family, or individuals with whom you're familiar with. So this is a very common phrase that you've heard a lot, and you already probably say this without even knowing that it's a common greeting for friends, family, or individuals with whom you're familiar. So hola, repeat, hola. Remember in Spanish that the H is silent, so you would never say hola, no. You'd say hola, which would mean hey. Another greeting would be ¿qué tal? Right? So that means what's up. So repeat ¿qué tal? And it's in the form of kind of a question like what's up? ¿Qué tal? Another option is ¿qué pasa? This is also another common phrase you've probably heard and didn't realize that you knew this already. So ¿qué pasa? Repeat ¿qué pasa? Which means what's up. These again are all ways that you can greet friends, family, individuals with whom you are familiar. So on to an example. Linda here is a friend of yours that you see so often around the neighborhood. So if you see her so often, how would you greet her? And you have many options of how you could actually greet her here. So if you thought of hola, perfect, ¿qué tal? Perfect, ¿qué pasa? Perfect. And Linda would respond to you with her appropriate greeting. Hola, ¿qué pasa? ¿Qué tal? Here we have another example. So this is Violet. She happens to be a family friend. So what's an example of how you could greet a family friend with whom you are familiar? Again, you have many options here. So if you thought of ¿qué pasa? ¿Qué tal? Hola, all of these options work to greet your family friend Violet, and she would respond accordingly. So now that we've learned how to say hello to formal and informal people, now let's learn some ways to say goodbye. So here are some common ways that you could say that formally and informally. So the most common that you probably know is adios. So repeat, adios. Adios means goodbye. Ciao is informal to say goodbye. So that's probably another common one that you hear too, is ciao. Adios and ciao are very common. Then you have hasta luego. So repeat, hasta luego. Hasta luego means see you later. And if you need a reminder, hasta means until, luego means later. So it literally means see you later. Then you have hasta mañana. Repeat, hasta mañana. And it's the same concept here. Hasta means until, mañana is morning, so, or tomorrow, so it could be hasta mañana for see you tomorrow. Then this is also another common one that I have seen personally used, so I included nos vemos. And this is a very informal way or formal way that you can say see you later, nos vemos. Then lastly, to tell somebody to have a great day or a nice day informally, you can use this slogan, que tengas buen día. I'll slow it down. Que tengas buen día. Que tengas buen día. Have a nice day. So these are all some phrases that you're going to hear at the end of a conversation. So let's say you've already introduced yourself, you talked a little bit, now it's time to go. Any of these will work. Adiós, chao, hasta luego, hasta mañana, nos vemos, que tengas buen día. So now that we have some ideas of ways to say goodbye, let's imagine that you're a teacher. So this is your class of students, estudiantes. So let's say that you're about to dismiss your class for the day. So what are 3 examples of how you could say goodbye to your students for the day? I've already got some ideas of how I could say goodbye, and I actually already do these. So adios is definitely an option. Ciao is definitely an option. Hasta mañana is definitely an option. But to go back, any of these options will work for your classmate or for your students. So the only thing is you may change que tengas to que tengan, but that's another topic for another day. So these work perfectly fine for ways to say goodbye. So let's move on to my last scenario, or excuse me, to my next topic, which is how you can introduce yourself to other people. So a common one that you've probably already heard, ¿Cómo se llama? That's what's your name. So if you hear somebody say, ¿Cómo se llama? They're asking you, what is your name? So that means that you would respond with your name. So the next one is me llamo, which means my name is. So repeat, me llamo. Now literally this translates to I call myself, but in English it'll just work out with my name is. Then you have le presento a. If you have a family member, a friend, or somebody with you that you'd like to introduce formally, le presento a. I'd like to introduce you to, and then you'd say that person's name. Lastly, after you meet this person, you want to say nice to meet you. So mucho gusto is a very common form to say nice to meet you. Okay, so just to recap, ¿Cómo se llama? ¿Cómo se llama? What's your name? Me llamo, my name is. Le presento a, let's say her name is Cecilia. Le presento a Cecilia. That's exactly how you would use that phrase right there. And lastly, you've met Cecilia, so you want to say nice to meet you. Mucho gusto. So now let's apply some of this into a real life scenario. So let's say that you've just finished a job interview, and at the end, the interviewer says, nice to meet you. How would you respond in Spanish? How would you respond to that if somebody says, nice to meet you? In English, you'd probably say, nice to meet you as well. So in this case, you could use mucho gusto. You could use mucho gusto. And this is one of our last scenarios. So you are the girl in the pink skirt, Katia. So this is you right here, right? And this is your friend. You're going to introduce your friend, Cecilia, to others. So if you want to say, I'd like to introduce you to Cecilia, what do you think a good way would be to introduce her? And if we look back at our answers, I'd like to introduce you to le presento a. We know the name comes after that. So literally in this scenario, you'd say le presento a Cecilia. And that works perfect to introduce your friend Cecilia. So now in Spanish, this is what you can do. You know how to greet formally and informally. For example, hola, hey. You can say goodbye. For example, hasta mañana, which means see you tomorrow. And you can introduce yourself and others. So, me llamo, my name is. So these are the skills that you have acquired just by watching this video. For additional practice, because language takes practice, daily practice at that. So Duolingo is a very great resource, and here are some pros that I personally know from Duolingo. So it's a free resource, 100% free. You have great daily practice, so you could practice for 15 to 20 minutes a day. They have interactive features such as podcasts, stories, and I'll let you figure out the rest. This is accessible on desktop, iPhone, and Android, so it's all inclusive. And then your progress is saved each and every time that you complete a lesson on Duolingo. So I definitely recommend that you all delve into language and you practice with these greetings, introductions, and as you start to acquire more of this knowledge, it will feel motivating to you and you'll want to learn some more. So if you want to keep learning more Español conmigo, then just go on Duolingo and we will go from there. Thank you.